Hello everyone, welcome to the video recording. In today's video, we will see how to create service models and deploy the services using API integrations. We will also see multi-vendor VPN service in action, where we will take one Juniper and one Cisco router and create a L2 VPN service using our Postman client. Paragon Automation uses Atom Service Orchestration module to help users integrate all their existing services like L2, L3 VPNs and create new service models as well. Atom Service Module is based on OpenConfig and supports Yang modeling language to make service templates easier for the user. These templates or services can further be deployed via external tools like client service creation softwares with the help of REST API integration. Atom Service Module is truly multi-vendor in its approach, where users can create and deploy services in a vendor-agnostic environment with ease. We will also ascertain the same in the upcoming demo. So first, let's go to the Atom automation services. And the services catalog, we have the SIFI L2 VPN service. To deploy this service, today we will be using the Postman API client. You can either deploy the service through the Atom self-provisioning GUI, or you can also use the REST API calls to provision it from any of the API clients like Postman. Let's go to the Postman client once. So here we have already imported some of these service tasks like begin, create, delete, and commit. So to first deploy the service, we need to go to the begin task. The begin task is used to start a new session with Atom. And once the session is started, a new task ID is generated here on Postman. We refer the same task ID in subsequent tasks like create and commit. So to deploy a service, first we'll go to the begin task. We'll use a send here and a task ID is generated. Now the next step is to create the L2 VPN service. So once we create the L2 VPN service, certain basic parameters will be pushed to Atom service provisioning module. And this can be seen here under the body tab here. So you see here, we are pushing the PIDs or the IP addresses of each of the router. And then we push parameters like STAG and CTAG. So I'll click on the send here, and then I'll see the same task ID is generated again. And now what I'll do is I'll click on commit task here to commit this. So again, the same task ID is generated, which verifies that all the steps are completed. Now let me go back to my Atom instance once. Let me go to administration, task and events. Under task and events, I see that there is a client transaction that is generated and it's at 25%. So in the backend, what happens is then when we push the create service task, a client transaction starts on Atom and it invokes a workflow. So this service deployment is run with the help of a workflow since we have added pre-checks and post-checks along with the user approval here. So let's go to automation and then workflows. Under workflow, similar to services, let's go to the workflow catalog and go to the L2 VPN workflow. So there are a lot of tasks that run on this workflow. So this is the main workflow process where you see that we provision the service, we take the user inputs, then we get the management IP of both the routers. We do some pre-checks along with some post-checks on the device, and when we push the payload to the devices, and after the payload is pushed, again post-checks are run and verification is done for the service with the help of the service monitoring workflow, which is a subroutine, and then the workflow is completed. So if you want to see some of these subroutines which are called inside the main workflow, which is like the generate payload and the pre-checks are visible here. So each of these tasks is customizable. So if you want to add any other block to the pre-check workflow, that is also possible. So let me go back once now. Under task and events, let's see the status of this service workflow. So currently it is at complete user task. So we need to complete one user task inside this workflow. Let's go to the workflows tab here, and under actions, we see that a new user task is pending on us. So let me select this. Let me claim this. And once I've claimed this, let me proceed ahead to give approval. I'll give the approval for the service provisioning. And now the workflow will proceed ahead. So let's go to task and events again. We see now the service deployment has moved ahead. And if you want to see the actual workflow that is running, we can do that as well. So the workflow instance ID is 7034. Let's go to workflows. Under workflows, let's go to the SIFI L2 VPN workflow. And under the SIFI L2 VPN workflow, we will see that this is the workflow that is in progress, and we can confirm the ID as well. So let's select this workflow. We can here see what is the state of the workflow. So currently the workflow is at the post checks task. Let's go to task and events once. And once we go to the task and events, so we can see the workflow is still running at show run invoke retrieve configs. So now we see here that the workflow instance and the client transactions are both completed. So we can verify that here, and we can see all the tasks inside the workflow have completed. Now let's go to the services and see if the service has been deployed. So let's go to the service catalog here under CFI L2 VPN service. We see that the new service is deployed. So if you want to see or edit this service, you can see this is a service that has been deployed. This is how you deploy an L2 VPN service on a multi-vendor environment. Once the service is deployed, if you want to verify the commands that are actually pushed to the devices, we can go to the task, and the task, we have the client transaction, which is completed. So if you go to the details of the client transaction, under commands tab, we can see that on the Cisco iOS device, these are the commands that have been pushed. So we have some rate limit commands as part of the QoS policy. And then for the Juniper device, this is a Juniper device with the IP. We have pushed these set of commands. Let's go to the Juniper device CLI and let's verify if these commands are pushed. So I'll run this command and we see these commands which we saw just on the GUI are pushed to the device. So similarly for the Cisco iOS device as well, I have logged in, and let's check this command on the Cisco iOS device. So we see here that these commands have been pushed. So this was about creating the service. So if you want to delete the service, that also can be done with the help of API call. With that, we have reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.